It
Mm-hmm.
was compelling. There was a point in the middle where I
So
couldn't
good.
put it down. I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Hi, everyone. This is Raquel.
Hi, and this is Jennifer.
Welcome to Madness Cafe.
This is a feminist podcast where we talk about women's issues, politics, and health and wellness.
And where those issues intersect. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Madness Cafe. It's always nice when I start an episode off just giggling. But hello, everybody. It is time for our next episode of our banned book series. And this month's book is Almost Perfect by Brian Katcher, which won the Stonewall Book Award. And let's see, it was published in 2009. And uh, by saying that it won the Stonewall Book Award, I'm sure that's a little bit of a giveaway as to why it was banned. But just to give a little more information, the book was banned, yes, because of LGBTQ plus issues, but also because it deals with a friendship and somewhat budding romance with a cishet straight boy and a trans girl. Well, woman, she's 18. Jennifer, what did you think of the book? Just overall, what did you think of the book?
I loved it.
Same.
It's been a while, but I
Yeah,
loved
no,
this
I know.
one. I
Yeah,
loved
same,
it. I was
same, same,
enthralled for a
same.
while. I couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
I thought, it's the book Almost Perfect is almost perfect. It was
Mm-hmm.
really well written. It was really
Mm-hmm.
well done. It brought up some really difficult, tender issues. I think he
Mm-hmm.
did a really good job of capturing it,
I do
and
too.
I loved it. I could relate on so many levels with what the characters were going through.
Mm-hmm.
And when I couldn't relate, when I didn't, especially with the trans issues, when I
Mm-hmm.
didn't, like, I don't have that lived experience,
Right.
the way the information came struggled to come through as our protagonist was trying to understand his girlfriend, him not understanding, and then trying to ask questions or getting little pieces of information at a time. That helped me to understand a little bit
Yeah.
why someone may or may not want to transition.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I loved it. How about you?
Oh my God. So when I first started reading the book, I was just like, and I think I even told you this, my first reaction was, oh, goddamn, another book told from the perspective of a high school boy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Here
yeah.
we go
Because
again.
we've
What
had
did
a lot of
I
that.
do? Damn it. Why did I choose this book? But then
Yeah.
I got, so what I did was I started actually reading the physical book, and then I saw that there was an audiobook of it. And so I bought the audiobook, and I listened to it while I was at work and driving and just doing whatever, doing which sometimes it's easier for me, because if I've got a lot going on, then I don't feel like, oh my God, now I've got to sit down and all I can do is read this book. And that can be really difficult for me to do, especially when I've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So I got the audiobook.
Great
Um,
choice. What a
Thank you.
great way to do it.
Thank you. And I'm trying to get over my whole an audiobook isn't really reading. I mean,
Oh,
I'm trying to get over that.
girl, let that go.
Oh, I know, I know, I know. Um, and so I was listening to the book, and I have to say the audio, or I guess the voice actor, really did a very good job. And so I could hear the emotion,
Mm,
as as opposed to, which generally I'm really good at imagining emotion when I'm reading. So I don't think I would have lost out on anything just reading the book, but hearing the actor emote kind of added to everything for me. And I will tell you, the last several chapters of the book crying,
I cried.
ugly cry, sobbing, just feeling the hurt in my heart and the sadness in my heart for these two characters and for Sage's family, and oh my god, and girl, this book,
I
I lo
know.
I love this book. I love
I
this
know.
book.
I
I
liked it too.
love this book, my god.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I like about the book, and okay, spoilers, people, whatever. The book came out in 2009. If you haven't read it already, whatever. And even if you haven't read the book and you're
Read
still
it.
going to read the book, us talking about it is not going to take away from your experience of the book. So don't let this freak you out. But when Sage's dad talked about how he was sorry for the way that he treated Sage,
No, it was
my heart was just breaking. Oh my god. I mean, I I I fully believe that Brian Katcher wrote these characters so well and so realistically that I can't imagine a book about this topic being written better.
well, he is a school librarian,
Mhm.
which I think gives him a lot of insight into high school. I'm assuming he's a
Right.
high school librarian, but I don't know that
I
for
think
sure.
so. I think so. And he did a lot of research. Like he
Yes.
talked to a lot of LGBTQ plus kids and a lot of trans kids. And I mean, dude took it all to heart, man. I mean, he
uh,
really paid attention.
Yeah. It's so it's so interesting because I think of my own experience in high school about,
Hmm.
having a crush on a boy and
Hmm.
trying to follow through on that crush without holding a big secret.
Right.
And how I guess all of us really want in this world is to be known and to be loved for who we are
Hmm. And to be
and
fully seen.
to be fully seen. And what a what a time period to and I learned so much about,
Same.
I've heard so many people talk about, oh, they should wait till they're after school to transition. And I thought, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Maybe,
I've thought the same thing. Like, oh, wait until, your frontal lobe is fully formed and, blah blah blah. I
but
didn't know.
come to find out from the book, if you wait longer, the hormones don't work as well. Like
Mhm.
males end up having a beard
Mhm.
before, and women grow their boobies,
Mhm.
breasts.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
try to be,
Yeah.
but
It's okay.
I
You can be childish, it's fine.
little boobies.
Bunch of boobies.
I guess I didn't know that. I had a lot of
Yeah.
misconceptions that were cleared up by the book as to why someone might want to transition earlier to be more
Mhm.
successful. And then I was also thinking about my college experience. Sure, if I was transitioning, I would probably want to start college out as the gender I was transitioning to,
Right.
because when oh, then what you go off and it, like, when is a good time.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, it also brings up that you have to be very careful who you open up to and when and
Oh,
how.
it would be so easy to be betrayed.
Yeah.
All the things I've told people about myself, and if I had a secret that was that important.
Mhm.
I mean, and
Mhm.
the reason it's important, it's not that trans people should have to hide, or trans people shouldn't be able to be trans, but we just have so much bias in this
Right.
world. I was going to say country, but really it's the whole freaking world, and it can be dangerous.
Right. And even even if, you share that with somebody who isn't going to be violent, we aren't necessarily taught as a society how to handle somebody else's uh secret or emotion, or we just aren't taught emotional intelligence.
No, we're not. And more deeper than that, we're not taught to hold someone's story, someone's lived experience.
Mhm.
And because I'll never understand a trans person's lived experience because I'll never live it.
Right.
But to be in that story and lived experience with them in a way that's hopefully supportive, or but if you were, I mean, I don't know. I assume that if I was a high schooler and I was in a relationship and found out that my boyfriend was indeed female, although it's tricky because Sage was a woman,
Mhm. Mhm.
born a boy, but was a woman.
Exactly.
So
And fully the way there was something that I read that talked about the wording of it, but talked about Sage being a girl trapped in a boy's body as
exactly,
opposed to being born being born male, right?
exactly.
And so I'm learning too, people. So if I slip
Yeah.
up and say it the wrong way, please
I mean, that's one of the things
give
I
me some
love.
grace. But I didn't
That's
I didn't I didn't know that.
that's one of the things I loved so much about the book because
Mhm.
it really, in some ways, allowed us to walk in Sage's shoes just a tiny bit. Not a
Mhm.
big bit, but a tiny bit to be like,
Mhm.
"Oh, what must that feel like?"
Right.
And
Right.
then to have a friend that you have a crush on, that you you're you should be able to be attracted to, you should be able to start a relationship, but oh no, what might their response be?
Right.
Oh no, might they be angry? And he was angry when he first found out. He almost hit her.
Yeah.
Thank God he
Yeah.
didn't, but
Yeah.
he almost did.
But you know what? And I think what's it, Logan's reactions, like in various parts of the book, the way that Brian Katcher wrote Logan's reactions and the way and the ending of the book and all of that, I really feel like those were so realistic.
Very
Like
realistic.
there's no sugarcoating in here.
No.
There's no tie this up
Happy
with a
la la
pretty
and
bow,
yeah.
right? I mean,
I thought for sure, like when Logan found out and he almost hit Sage, but then he went
mhm,
home and his first reaction was, "Fuck, everyone's gonna think I'm gay." I think that is a reaction that most young men would have.
I
But
think,
also
yeah, most any men,
anybody.
older men would have that reaction.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, but
A woman, I think even in
yeah,
some circles, I think even a woman finding out that her boyfriend
yeah.
is transitioning female to male or was born into a female body,
But
I do think that even some women would have a very, very, very hard time with that.
sure, sure. But I think it's even more potent when it's a young person because they're
Mhm.
just exploring their sexuality.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
neither Sage nor Logan had any real experience with another human being.
Mhm.
And so his first real, he had a girlfriend, but it never got sexual.
Right.
They didn't even really make out. She's just like a girl, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
which is fine. I'm not saying there's
Oh,
anything wrong
yeah,
with that.
yeah, yeah.
But when he was physically attracted to Sage, they shared a very deep kiss, and he was like, "Oh my God, am I gay? How could I have been attracted to a trans
Right,
person?" Right?
right.
And I think that would be, but it's interesting because the things he was attracted to were very feminine.
Exactly,
So it's
exactly.
like, but I do think that that is a questioning of one's sexuality
Mhm,
would
mhm.
be interesting. And then his whole thought process as he changed and grew and thought,
Mhm.
and mostly he thought about his own feelings throughout the whole book.
Right. But I think that was pretty realistic too, because as somebody who's 17, 18 years old, you're filtering everything through your own experience. And even as adults,
We all
we're
do.
filtering things through our own experience and our own lens and our own thoughts. And so I think all of that was pretty realistic.
I do too.
And to eventually get to a point where you're like, oh shit, what's this person's, what's it like for them, right? And one of my favorite parts of the book was when Tammy went to see Logan after, I think it was once Sage was in the hospital. And Tammy says, "Nobody likes a martyr, Logan."
Right.
And I was like, damn, if that ain't the truth. Holy shit.
Right. But they all, Tammy, Logan, the father, they
Mhm.
all felt what Sage was going through was their fault. And
Yeah.
yes, they all played roles in Sage's life,
Mhm.
but it wasn't their fault per se,
Right.
but it was a whirlwind of circumstances that were
Mhm. And they all felt some guilt about how they reacted at various times,
sure,
basically throughout Sage's life.
sure. And I think anyone probably would.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I met a trans person.
Mhm.
I was not particularly okay. The very first time I heard about a trans person, someone in my family was thinking about transitioning.
Mhm.
I actually made fun of that person. I had
Okay.
I was very young. I was in high
Okay.
school. I really had no idea about anything. I didn't really
Mhm.
know what trans was. I heard that a male in my family wanted to be female. I thought that was funny.
Mhm.
Very not kind or loving.
Mhm.
Years and years later, I unknowingly met a trans person. Now I know lots of trans people, probably
Mhm.
because of the area that I live in
Yeah.
Ann
Yeah.
Arbor. And people are who they appear to be to me
Mhm.
now,
Mhm.
to me now. So
Yeah.
if they're walking the walk, that's who they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a process because that's where bias comes from. We all get biases from our families and our society, etc. And that's why traveling or meeting people is so important because when you
Mhm.
meet people, you're like, oh, they're just a
Mhm.
person, just
And
like me.
reading. And
And
reading.
reading. They have families, they have thoughts, they cry, they love, they they're people. They're
Yeah.
human beings like everyone else.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
I don't remember the first time I heard about anybody being trans. I mean, I really don't.
well, they didn't call it trans the first time I heard about that
Okay.
family member. They said, "Ah
Okay.
ha ha, so and so wants to be a girl."
Okay.
Right?
Right.
It was even presented that way. So it was
Right.
presented in a way that was full of bias. Now, in my
Right.
family, if that were to happen, it would be like, so and so is trans and they're thinking about transitioning. And that
Right.
would be a whole different conversation now than it
Yeah.
was 25 years ago. 30, how old am I? 40, 50, 30 years ago? A lot of years ago. A lot of years ago, I didn't know anything about being a trans person.
Yeah. Yeah. And same. I mean, just the wording that we use has evolved as well. Like,
It has.
it used to be that we would talk about cross-dressing, or, we would use the word transvestite, or,
That's
you
like a
know,
lot, not a very nice word,
and we know better than to use those words and phrases now. And I think we're still I'll speak for myself. I'm still learning and hopefully evolving and growing.
for sure.
So I'm learning how the trans community prefers to be referred to and spoken of.
Well,
So I'm learning.
and also they're not a monolith either. One
Exactly.
what one person in the trans community prefers versus I found that out at work.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, because they're not all the same. They're
Right,
individual
right,
people who prefer different things.
right. And I mean, and yes, over the years, I have personally met trans people, and I don't, live your life,
They're people.
live your truth, be who you are supposed to be, who you want to be. If you are not able to do that, I'm so very sorry, and I hope that society catches up so that you can.
But what if you
And
were in a relationship with a man
see,
and
I've thought about that.
yeah, that's an
I mean,
interesting
I mean,
question.
even before reading this book,
Yeah.
because there are a couple of people, a couple of men that I follow on Instagram who I'm like, ooh, hey, you kind of cute. I'm gonna follow you. And in the process, I'd like find out, and actually probably even before I start following them, they're talking about transitioning and what their life was like before they started transitioning and that kind of thing. And I think about it and I'm like, what would my reaction be? And could I fall in love with somebody with a trans man? Because I mean, I could. I mean, hell, if they're a good person, yeah. I mean, emotions are emotions, right?
But
But,
if you
but
fell in love with a man and then found out he was trans, would that change how you felt about him?
right, that's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Is what I don't know, and and I'm just being completely realistic. I don't know if I could continue the relationship, if I found out after starting dating, or if I found out before, if I could start dating. Like I don't know. I mean,
Right.
I would like to think that I'm evolved enough that I could be like, nah, it wouldn't be an issue. I'd be great with it. Whatever. I don't know. I don't
It's really
know.
hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have no idea. I would like to think that I'd be like, I have the capacity to love the person. And yes, I can love the person. I don't know that at this point in my life, who knows? Maybe I will evolve and grow. Hopefully, I continue to evolve and grow. But I don't know if right now, if I would be able to go, okay, yes, the relationship will continue or the relationship can start. I don't know.
Well, I can say one thing
Yeah.
about that for me. I agree with that also. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to really know because that hasn't happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think, and this is probably because of age, I still think it has a lot to do with Logan being very young.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if I chose to stay with that person and people
Mm-hmm.
found out, I don't think I would care. I wouldn't be like, "Oh no, they think I'm gay," or "Oh my
Right.
God, what are people?" But I'm also 56. I'm
Yeah.
not 18
You're not 17, 18, 19. Yeah.
yeah, starting off life. And I don't care if anyone thinks I'm gay. Like
Right.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't I don't see it as an insult. It's like
Right.
I'm either gay, I'm straight, I'm bi. I don't care. I don't care
Yeah.
about that. So
Right.
that part wouldn't be feel fearful for me. If I found out, I wouldn't be like, "Oh, I can't be with you in case someone finds out."
Right.
I wonder how my attraction would be when I found out, if it would affect the way
Right.
because I do like certain boy body parts. No,
Right.
I take
Right.
that back. I don't like any boy body parts. I like certain men body parts.
Men body parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I would, oh God, and I hate to, and I would be like, I would wonder how, God, this is gonna make me sound like such a child, but I would wonder how things would function or if they could.
Oh, I think they can. I think that from what I hear,
Uh-huh.
lesbian love is really good because women know women.
Right. Right. Well, but I wonder, like, female transitioning to male,
Oh, they can rebuild body parts.
but does it does the penis still
I
become
believe it.
erect? Can it
I
still,
believe it does. I
okay.
believe it does.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
And I hate to admit that like these are the things that I think
there's
about,
al
but
there's also toys.
well, that's true too. That's true
Like, you
too.
could have all
But
kinds
and
of
then also at this point in our lives, you know,
right,
the
right,
guys, the
men
men
our
that we
age
date
are
may
seeing
not be able to do
that,
anything anyway. They might need to be like, well, let me find some toys and let me learn how to use other parts of my body. So
right?
who? I mean, it may not even be an issue at this age.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I
Yeah.
think it's just I think a lot of it's in the head. Our biases run so deep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think I would be like, oh no, I'm attracted to a woman because I have been attracted to women. I mean, I've never been in a relationship with one, but I've
There.
seen a few where I was like, hmm, if that were to happen, I could do that.
Right, right.
There was
Like
one,
sometimes it's like, if that person made a pass with me, I don't know that I would necessarily turn that down. I'd be like,
I,
oh, hey,
mm-hmm,
thank you, honey. You
yep,
know,
I would
I'd be kind of flattered.
there's a few I would definitely try it out with that I've seen. There
Mhm.
was this one singer, she was in a relationship, but had she not been in a relationship, and she was not trans, but she dressed a little bit more masculine,
Mhm.
and I just found her very, very attractive. I'm not gonna
Right?
lie, I did.
Right?
And I
Look,
was like, "Hmm,
I'll tell you, there are a few there are a few women on Instagram who are more masculine presenting that I'm like, God damn,
same,
you're hot.
same,
And
same."
I follow them, and I'm like,
I
let's
think
just see what that person's
I
up to.
think very
Hello.
feminine women are very beautiful. I'm not
Hmm.
attracted to them.
Right.
But and I wouldn't say I'm attracted to overly butch women
Hmm.
either. Like butch is
Hmm.
a bad term, right? It's that people use that anymore. I don't know.
I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
But I
Y'all, please let us know. I mean, because we
yeah,
don't know. We're not
we're
trying to be hurtful or ignorant, but we don't know. So please give us the grace that we hope that we provide to others who are learning, and and let us know if we are using the wrong language, right?
I'm
Because we don't want to hurt anybody. We want to
no.
learn as much as anybody else wants to learn. Like we want to
That's
be
why this book
respectful.
was so one of the number one, it was really well written. It
Hmm.
was compelling. There was a point in the middle where I
So
couldn't
good.
put it down. I was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Oh, so good.
And the end was some bit of tears.
Oh
I
God,
didn't
I
sob it
cried so
out like
much.
you did, but I did have some tears.
Yeah.
I'm cold-hearted, man.
You are not, hush. You are not cold-hearted. Because I mean, there's plenty of stuff where you're like, we'll be talking about a book or something, and you're like, that brought me to tears. I'm like, my heart is cold. I felt nothing. Not I felt nothing, but I was like, my eyes were completely dry. Okay, so one thing, a couple of things that I thought were really interesting that that the book brought up, and we've talked about it on this show. It's been kind of like a running theme: masculinity, the hidden costs of masculinity, the
Yes.
codes,
Yep.
the toxicity of it,
Yep.
how boys, soon to be men, relate to each, and even grown men, how they relate to each other and speak to
Yes.
each other.
Yep. The assumptions that are made about
Y-
people having sex with their girlfriends when they're not.
Right, right.
I
How they talk about other people.
yes.
I thought that, and I wasn't expecting to think about that when I started the book. I was just like, oh, it's just going to be a book about, how does this kid react to being attracted to a trans girl or a trans, well, woman, she's 18. But just the way that masculinity is presented and the way that masculinity is, what's the word I'm looking for? The way that it is fostered in boys and men
Reinforced over
now,
and
and
over and
and
over again.
reinforced, and the things that go unsaid and the things that are assumed. This book was a really good view into all that. as well.
Well, it was kind of interesting because he did talk about her breasts a lot, just like
Mm,
those other books that we read
mhm,
by the other authors with the angsty teen boys.
mhm.
It didn't come across in quite the same way to me as the previous books, even though it same content, teenage boy lusting after young girl's body.
I think the gift of and the ability of Brian Katcher as a writer though, I
Yeah.
think.
And at the same point, I thought it was really interesting that Logan talked about his relationship with his previous girlfriend, Brenda,
Mhm. Brenda,
and,
yep.
and then his relationship with Sage. And he was angsty about the fact that he and Brendan never really talked. They dated for 3 years. They never really talked. They
Mhm,
never really got into emotions. They never really connected on that way. And one of the things he really loved about Sage was they were connecting on an emotional level as well.
mhm,
So I thought that was interesting because there was some of the stereotypical boy being, a little gaga over the female form,
mhm,
lusting after it, but there was also this kindness in the way, yeah, he was attracted to these women, but not just Sage, not just Brenda. He talked about other women in the book.
mhm.
His new his new one at the very end of the book, like
Right.
checking out their bodies, and
Yeah.
but he also his inner dialogue was also about their thoughts, their feelings, his desire to protect them,
Mhm,
his interest in having a conversation. And
mhm.
I don't think we saw that depth of character in any of the previous YA novels with the
Yep,
young
yep.
boys. And
Well,
that gave me hope about young boys in America. Maybe they do have more on their mind than just boobies and titties.
but I think that's also a I think that's due also to Brian Katcher as a writer, because
And
the
also
other
probably as a man.
exactly, yes, yes, that's very true, that's a very good point, in that Logan actually does develop not just the
He
character, like,
does.
oh, and now you learn more information about this character. No, but Logan as a character grows up
He does.
over the course, like emotionally develops
He
over the
does.
course of the book. And he even, I think the part that you were talking about, that he realizes, oh, we never, Brenda and I never talked about emotions. She didn't know any of this other stuff about me. She never came over to our house. He didn't realize that at first.
No.
He literally was like, oh, Brenda never really spent any time at my house. Brenda never really did. We never talked about emotions, blah, blah. I didn't know but X, Y, and Z. She didn't know X, Y, and Z. And I think that's a really important difference in this book as opposed to the other books about
Yeah,
high school boys. And
that's
honestly, if we hadn't
yes.
read this book, I would have just walked away being like, I don't want to read another book where the point of view is of a high school boy.
Yeah, I was really starting to feel like maybe there is no depth to men on some levels. Men
Hmm.
writers who are writing these stories. And I think I'm glad that this wasn't written by a woman, because then
Hmm.
I would say, "Oh, the woman wrote that depth of character into Logan."
Yep,
But it
that's
was
a good
written by
point.
a man, so now I'm like, "Oh, so there are men who have that depth of character." And so now I don't feel so completely like, like ready to write them all off in one final they're done.
Right.
Men,
There's hope
they're
for men.
done. Yes. There is yes. This actually gave me some hope for men. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
for real. I feel like Logan also learned or developed compassion through the book.
Hmm. Hmm.
In the beginning, I think he always had some level of compassion. He was a nice kid. He was
Yeah.
thoughtful of his friends, etc. He loved his
Yeah, he was
sister and
nice
his
to his
mom.
mom,
Yeah.
missed his sister,
Yeah.
yeah.
He had some level of compassion, but towards the end of the book, when thinking about Sage, he was like, well, I could reach out to her, I could write her a letter, I could go visit her, I could try to help, or I could be like my dad and just abandon her.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't want to be that.
Right.
And I think in some ways that's like a lesson of why we sometimes have hardship in our own lives,
Mhm.
because it teaches us who we don't want to be. How
Exactly.
we, and Logan was like, oh, I want to do better by this, more than girlfriend, by this friend of mine, this person I cared about. I
Mhm.
want to be better. I don't want to abandon. And I think
Yeah.
that was, yes, depth of character as Logan was growing up, but he was growing compassion.
Mhm. And honestly, with a situation like that where a parent just leaves, just abandons the family, I mean, Logan very easily could have become a bitter character.
Absolutely.
And in the end, he's not a bitter character. There's so much hope for Logan, and I feel so much compassion for Logan. And yeah, there were times that Logan reacted in a way that I'm like, God damn it, Logan, come on,
Yep.
man.
But I also
But
think we all might have reacted in the same way.
exactly. And honestly, even toward the end of the book, and even sometimes right after those reactions, Logan's like, oh shit, what am I, why did I do that? Why?
Yep.
We see him grow and develop
And question
throughout the
himself.
book and question himself and question what he thinks about all these things and like, is that really how I feel or is that society or what do I, and just I just thought that was so excellent. And I want to talk about Sage some more too because Sage even goes through
A
God,
metamorphosis.
so
Yep.
much. And just the way that Sage is thinking about who she is and who she's becoming and where she wants to end up and how she wants to live her life and how she can keep herself safe but still become truly herself
And what she deserves.
and what she deserves. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and it's just
Yeah.
my
It's,
heart just went out to everyone in this book. My
yeah.
God.
Yeah. And Logan's mom did such a good job too.
Oh God.
What
Oh,
a
Logan's
good
mom.
mom.
And Logan's sister.
Logan's sister, amazing. And her reaction
Right.
was totally normal as well. I
Yeah.
could see doing that exact thing that she did and then being like, oh shit, did I love the way she
Yeah.
said, it occurred to me that you already knew. She's like, I'm
Yeah.
really sorry that but that's all that, like,
Yeah.
you know, it's,
She was once again being his big sister and being his protector and
yeah,
being worried about her little brother.
it's really too bad that being a trans person has to be a secret. Not
Yeah.
that you should have it like tattooed across your forehead or anything.
Right.
I'm
Right.
trans, I'm transitioning.
Right.
But and I get that it has to be because people are dangerous in this world. And
Mhm.
with our
Mhm.
current political system, we
Mhm.
are really living in an
Mhm.
anti-trans environment.
Right. But I also get, and I'm not saying that I would have the strength to do this, but I also get why some people like lead with that, like, because there are a lot of actors who are like, I am a trans actor, because they're like, look, other people, other kids growing up need
Need
to
to see it.
know that we are here, that this
Yeah,
community does exist, and we can live full lives that do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, because
they're putting themselves out there as this is what your life can be.
yeah, and that's what this whole book is in a way.
Yeah,
This whole
yeah.
book is like, if you see yourself, it's interesting. I've been on a trip this week and I talked to a lot of people about the book that I was reading because I
Oh,
was
good.
reading it on the bus and I was
Mhm.
reading it on the airplane. And a few people were like, "Oh, that's a pretty big topic for a young adult or for high school." And I was like, "Okay, I hear what you're saying, but what if you were a kid in high school who was wanting to transition? You
Mhm.
need to be able to see yourself."
Exactly.
Speaking of which,
Exactly.
this is a good segue because I wanted
Okay.
to read this piece in the end of the book.
Okay.
It's not the book itself. It's a little
Oh, the author's note or whatever?
yeah, author's note. So he first talks about how the novel wouldn't be possible with all the real life sages. You talked about that.
Yeah.
But then he says, a paragraph down. So for any of you who are walking in Sage's shoes, what now? Where can you turn? While researching this novel, I found that the one common feeling amongst transgender teens was that of being completely alone. Well, you're
Mhm.
not. So if you're out there and you're listening, I don't know if we have any teens in our group, but
Or if there are parents who have trans kids or kids who are questioning, please share this episode or
or the
share the
book.
book. Share the
Yeah.
book.
Well, you're not alone. There are others like you. There are people out there who can help you make sense of your feelings and decide what to do next. If you can't discuss your feelings with a parent, counselor, clergyman, or family friend, I'd suggest contacting Parents of Friends of Lesbians and Gays, PFLAG. Go to
P flag.
www.community.pflag.org.net community and check for a chapter in your area. They also provide a lot of information for gay, bisexual, transgender people, as well as those who just have questions. It's a transgender network that can help point you to a sympathetic counselor. And then there's more, but I
Mm-hmm.
just really wanted to get that out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is a good read just on its face. Whether you know somebody in your life who is trans or is thinking or is questioning or whatever, just on its face, this is a really good book.
It
This
is.
is really
It
well written. It's a great story. It's compelling. It it just yeah, just
it's
on its
thought
face,
provoking.
it's thought provoking. On its face, it is a really 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 good book. So just just read it. Just be an interested reader and read it. But also, if there are people in your life that you think could benefit in any number of ways from reading the book, you don't even have to be pointed about it. Just leave it out.
Oh, good
Leave it
point.
at somebody's house. Just do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
or
good
if
point.
you're uncomfortable giving it to somebody, just leave it at somebody's house.
Have it in your purse and just put it on the side table before you
Y-
leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just leave it at somebody's house.
Yeah,
You know? Or buy copies of it and leave it at a coffee shop. Leave it at a community center. Whatever. Donate it to a free library. Whatever. But get this book out into the world so that other people who may need this book can find it.
yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, imagine if Sage had had the book
Exactly. Oh my
or
God.
Logan.
Right?
Yeah,
Or Tammy.
or Sage's father
Or
or
exactly. I mean,
Sage's mother.
or any of Logan's friends. I mean,
Right.
anybody. If anybody in that town
Yes.
had seen this book and had read it. If a teacher at their school had said, "We're reading this book."
Yes.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine the conversations that could have come from that, the learning that could have come from that?
Yeah. I think one of the most powerful things of this book for me is that it had Logan really doing some deep self reflection. And at
Mhm.
the same time, it had me doing some deep self
Yep.
reflection.
Mhm.
And boy, I have messed up some stuff
Yeah.
over the years.
We all have. We
Boy,
all
have
have.
I, and even
And hell,
even
I've probably messed up some stuff like
last week.
this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
shit.
No,
And
I know.
I because we have a platform and I can do this, to anyone who I have hurt, I am sorry. And I'm not even going to say if, because I know I've probably said the wrong thing. I am sorry. It was not intentional. Or if it was, I didn't realize it. And if there was a way that I could take it back, I would. But I'm trying to grow and I'm trying to learn. And hopefully the grace that I try to give to others, I would hope that others would provide that same grace to me.
Yes, I will say my apologies as well. And I know I've messed up, so there's no if, but to my friends who are trans and people that I've worked with, I love you.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
do. I love
Yeah,
you deeply. I wish
yeah.
no harm for you.
At all.
I wish a safe space. I wish a world that would just like let you be you.
Mhm. I wish you love and support and people seeing you fully, and even for people who can't quite understand, that they have empathy for you and give you grace,
Or they just mind
and
their own fucking business and
or
stay
they
out of
just
it.
mind their own fucking
Yeah, just
business,
mind your own fucking
and at
business.
the very least, that they not hurt you
Yeah. And anyway,
in any way. Yeah.
I hope Sage moves to a bigger town because I think a bigger town would help. Where
Mhm.
where there she may find a bigger community,
Yep.
may find some friends, may not have to worry so much about hiding every little thing. I hope Sage finds a community where she can
S
just be herself.
and it's so interesting that you asked that because I went through and, doing my research, and I think this was on Goodreads. And apparently on Goodreads, there's like a Q&A section where sometimes even the author will like pop in and answer people's questions, right? And
Cool.
a lot of people ask like, "Oh, I wonder what happened to Sage after the book." Right? Like I wonder, is there going to be a sequel? Like what happens to Sage? And Brian Katcher actually pops in and answers a lot of questions, and which I just thought was so cool. So, and my hope is that we'll tag him in the posts and maybe he'll like chime in. Hope. But anyway, so he writes, and it's a little long, but anyway, I think it's worth it. Brian says, honestly, I don't think there will ever be a sequel, though you're not the first person to ask. But since I'm the author, I can tell you what would have happened with Logan and Sage. Logan went off to college, older and wiser. He had a couple of girlfriends, but nothing worked out. He still held a candle for Sage, though respected her request not to contact her. Sage moved to a large city where she was free to be herself with no outside influences. Uh,
Woohoo! Good job, Sage.
I know. There's more. You're going to get real excited. After a couple of years, she decided to move back to Missouri to be closer to her family and to continue her education. She wrote to Logan, asking if he'd be interested in getting together, saying if he'd rather leave their friendship in the past, she'd understand. Logan, of course, was ecstatic about seeing Sage again. However, here's the thing. Sage no longer hides the fact that she is transgender. She's actually become a trans rights advocate and is an up and comer in the LGBTQ movement. Whatever happens in the future, everyone will know about Sage's past. She's no longer ashamed. Do Logan and Sage get back together? Is Logan strong enough now to get over his own fears? Is Sage even available? Maybe she has no interest in dating Logan again. Maybe she is already seeing someone else. That's what I can't tell you, but thank you for reading.
Mm.
I
Ah,
love that so
in
much.
my head, they meet at the coffee shop and they look at each other, and it's like, yes, we are soulmates. We were meant to be together. And Logan has grown up and he has friends who are a little bit more accepting. And he realized when his sister didn't care, things were good. Not that she didn't care, but that
that it wasn't a deal breaker.
because they went to college and they got educated,
Hmm.
edumacated, not,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's what happens in my head. They get back
yeah,
together.
yeah.
They were
In my head too. But I just love that Brian Ketcher wrote that, and I was just like, oh my god, this is the best. I just love that the book has affected so many people, and that people are still interacting with the book this many years later, because I think this response was written, what, like, I don't know, 5 years ago? So even still, many years after the book came out. And God, it just goes to show, and we talk about this all the time, the power of words, the power
Yep,
of language, the power that comes from being able to see yourself represented and being able to see other people's stories and lives represented and how that can affect you as well. God damn, reading is so key. Jesus,
yep. Brian
mm.
Katcher, you have restored my faith in men. Not all men. That's a hashtag, not all men. But
Yes, yes,
but
yeah.
but it's nice to know that a man can write a book like this.
Mhm.
And I'm glad you're a librarian.
Yeah, and you know what? This this gives me hope that, because we've talked about this before too, where can you write a story that isn't your own? And it
Well,
gives
if
me
you do
hope
your
that people can.
research,
Exactly. Yes,
if you do
if you
your
do your research, if you listen to people's lived experience,
yes,
then yes, it is possible for somebody to write an experience, a character, a story that is not their own. Brian
exactly.
Katcher has restored my hope and my belief that people can write full, true characters and stories that aren't their own. So
Yeah.
Brian Katcher,
Hats
you
off.
have done a
Hats
lot.
off.
Hats
Hats
off to you,
off.
sir. You have done a lot with this book. Thank you for your talent. Thank you for this book.
Thank you for
Thank you for
listening to
doing
our
the work.
episode.
Yes, thank you, Brian
Thank you,
Katcher, for
Brian.
listening to our
Thank you, Brian.
episode. If you do indeed listen to this
No,
episode.
thank you, Brian.
Yes, thank you, Brian. Thank you. Yes, we are putting that into the universe that Brian Katcher will listen to this episode. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Brian, for
sir.
listening to the episode because
Dude,
we appreciate this book
so much.
more than you know.
Absolutely. This book, this book touched my heart, and I truly feel that this book will live in my heart beyond today. I really do.
Yeah. And we needed a comeback book.
We did. We did so much.
Yeah, we did. Bye, Raquel.
Bye, Jennifer. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you like this episode, please share it with a friend.
Or you could leave us a comment and a 5-star review, or email us at madnesscafepodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks, everybody.